They walked away from the forest and made their way to the road. With the open area, compared to having trees surrounding them, there's a feeling of relief. Not having the vegetation blocking their vision, it was easier to spot any threats long before they got close to them. Another plus was seeing the carriages that were traveling up and down the road. A couple of adventurers walked alongside to provide security. James observed the adventurers and estimated that they were less than level 20 with how they carried themselves. But despite being weaker than their two groups, the adventurers would be enough against bandits and types of monsters generally seen along the road. Seeing that they were making their way in the opposite direction of the city was also a positive thing. If they were heading towards the city, I'd have recommended them to either join us or leave for someplace else, James thought to himself. Celine looked at Mim before asking, "Do we let the merchants we meet on the road know?" referring to the rock bears that were now in the forest. Instead of answering immediately, he was quiet as they all made their way towards the road. "What do you think?" Mai whispered to James. James glanced at Mim before he said in a quiet voice, "I think we should go with their lead." Even though he thought they should alert the merchants, James didn't want to get in the way of Mim and his group completing the request with the guild. The worst case scenario would be if the guild determined that Mim's group was taking too long and decided to send another group. If another group was sent out, then Mim's group could be penalized for the guild having to dedicate more resources to finding James's group that had failed to report in. Even if James wouldn't be responsible and need to help pay the fine, it didn't mean that he wanted to make things difficult for the adventurers and the guild. Stopping on the road was a welcome sensation compared to the dirt game trail that they had been using for numerous days. Mim nodded to Celine. "We won't be able to walk with them. I think we should at least warn them. If the merchants along with any adventurers want to match our pace, then they're welcome to do so." He turned his head looking to James. "I hope that this is something that your group is okay with." "We'll go with what you decide," James said. Gracefully moving through the air, Mim's tail seemed to signal that he found James's response to be satisfactory. With the road being wide enough to allow two large wagons to pass by one another, it gave them room to spread out. Mim's group led the way while James and the others followed behind them. Instead of running as quickly as they did in the forest, they maintained a slower speed. The pace they ran was not just to be considerate towards James and Maya, but to allow them to recover a little bit now that they were no longer in as much danger as before. "Do you think we need to worry about the bears?" Adam moved to run next to James. James shook his head. "I suspect that the bears are doing their own thing. If they do decide to come out, I want to guess that it'll be after they acclimate to their new territory." "Do you not think they'll just continue through the forest?" Adam followed up. "Honestly, that'd be the best outcome. With how we struggled to fight what seemed like younger rock bears, I would hate to go up against a more mature one," James said. In front of them, Mim's group seemed to be having their own impromptu meeting, likely discussing the same matter regarding the monsters. "The only thing I think we need to worry about is the forest cats. With a new predator in their territory, there could be some that leave the protection of the forest in order to escape the stronger monsters," James said.